Welcome to the Rock is George podcast. I'm your host, George Dionne, and this is episode 142. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to hit like, follow, or subscribe on the platform that you're listening to us on. You can also check out my work at theloudest.com on the planet, knac.com, for exclusive hard rock and metal interviews, as well as live show coverage and more. My guest for this episode is the Swedish AOR act, Houston. Even though I cut my chops in the hard rock and heavy metal genres and do a lot of that work for knac.com, my favorite music is AOR, rock radio, melodic rock style stuff. You know, the stuff that I grew up on in the early to late 80s. That sound was certainly embraced by Swedish acts. As if you go through past episodes of the Rock is George podcast, you can see that I've interviewed numerous Swedish melodic rock and AOR acts. If you're not familiar with the term AOR, it's adult-oriented rock or album-oriented rock. Back in the day, we just called it rock or rock radio. Houston was a band I always heard of. I heard their debut album was a classic. Never really got around to listening to it. I got a copy of their latest album, Relaunch 3, which is a covers album with 2 original songs that the band penned. But I didn't know that this was a covers album, and I listened to it and I'm like, wow, this is really good. These guys really know how to capture that AOR sound. Well, it's a collection of songs of artists that I listen to, as certainly they're obscure. They're not necessarily artists that may be on your radar, like David Pack or Blackjack or Van Stevenson or Prophet. So Houston started their relaunch series in 2011. In 2014, they followed it up with Relaunch 2. And here we are in 2023 with Relaunch 3, out now through Frontiers Music. And here's drummer ERIK Moden, bassist NIELS WALTER, keyboardist Richard Hamilton, guitarist Carl Hamar, and vocalist Hank Eriks of the band Houston to tell you more about it. If I knew absolutely nothing about Houston, how would you describe the band's music to me?
Well, our recent labeling is vintage AOR, because when we first started in 2009, we liked a lot of music, but it sounded like it came from 1986 or 1981, but all the other music, the new bands that came, they were all influenced by those bands, but it didn't sound like that. So we figured we should do music that we like to listen to, basically. And that was about the same time where Ghost got really popular and big, and they also had kind of a retro sound, and Rival Sons were also this big with this retro sound. So I think we were onto something back in 2010 when we released the debut album. So yeah, I guess it's a vintage AOR. So
how did 5 Swedish guys end up with the name Houston?
Well, there's a lot of bands that we look up to, like Chicago, and we look up to Europe and Boston, etc.
Kansas,
and especially for the first album and the artwork for the Green album, which we released ourselves before we did we signed a deal with Universal and Spinefarm in the UK.
On July 14th. You released Relaunch 3 through Frontiers Music. It is the third in a series of albums you started in 2011. You say that this series shines a light on the more obscure and unknown AOR, which is interesting, because when I heard this album, I thought it was all original material by you guys.
Well, the plan was to get in our own material. So especially in the first one, like we need to release a few of our own song and then pay the homage to some of our heroes and the music that didn't quite get the attention it deserved. So, and this is the plan. And by Relaunch 2, we experimented a little bit more, but now we thought we just want to do exactly what we want to do. And show our fans that we also are big fans of the genre, and that we didn't just wake up one morning and figured we should do AOR music. So
you started this project with the first relaunch in 2011, and it actually had an unintended consequence in which it got the band Dakota back together because you covered their song Runaway, and your music video was so popular it got the band back together.
Well, we say it's our most popular and the most expensive music video, but it's all thanks to Danny McAskill and the Red Bull team.
Okay.
But yeah, 90 million views and keeps going, so it's quite good.
Let's talk about the new songs that are on Relaunch 3. Let's talk a little bit about Live Forever and what kind of inspired that song.
Well, we actually released the Do You Believe song first, before we signed with Frontiers, and we did Houston 4. And then we wanted to include it. We kind of built the album a little bit around it. And then when it was finished, we couldn't fit it in. So we saved it, and then we wanted to do a follow-up to Do You Believe, and then it became Live Forever. And maybe you have things to say. Erik actually produced the album as well.
So basically the request from the band was basically that we should rearrange the songs a bit to take away those synthwave vibes and just make it sound like a band, really, and to add more distortion guitars and real drums and everything, a more organic sound. So it's funny thing that they are viewed as remixes, but the remixes were made before the actual album versions. So the album versions themselves are remixes if you look at it from that point of view.
I just want to say, Live Forever is also, it's a demo that's, we had it for a few years, I think, before it actually got released, and we knew that we were sitting on this really powerful song. Like, I think we're all very excited about it. Like, obviously it was written by Mike Pallas, and I don't know, it's just, it was nice that it finally got to see the light of day, because we were like, when are we going to release this this banger?
Yeah, because we were thinking of including it to Houston 4, but then we're like, we already paid for it as well. So I mean, it's also business. It's not just, you can't just put everything on any album. So it had to wait to get the attention it deserved. Who knows, if it wasn't for it, maybe it wouldn't have gotten that spotlight like it has gotten now. Who knows?
Yeah. If it deserved to be a single, I think.
Yeah.
You mentioned Michael Pallas writing the song. He actually appears on your two singles, I believe. What's your relationship with Michael Pallas?
Well, he's been around us for quite a few years. I think the first thing he wrote with us was for Houston 3, Dangerous Love.
Yeah.
And that's one when we needed a song for the Swedish Eurovision. And they were like, I think it was Warner or Sony BMG or something, like, hey, can you send in a song? You got 2 weeks. And they've been working like with other artists for a year. Then in the last few weeks, they were like, oh shit, we don't have any rock bands. So, but it wasn't accepted, obviously. But that was the first time. And he did the artwork for Houston 4.
He's a man of many traits.
Yeah.
He tends to get really good at whatever he starts doing. Like, I mean,
yeah, I talked to him. He wanted to come to the release party and play some guest guitar, but he's actually stuck in Greece now, like everybody else is in Greece. Yeah. So it's troublesome in Greece. So, but yeah, we are really good friends, and he gets us, so it's very easy to work with him. We have done it plenty.
Yep.
We have like 1,000 pages of chat in the Facebook Messenger when we're discussing like sound and mixing and artworks and stuff.
He listens. He likes a lot of the same music that we do. Basically, we have the same reference points. So it's like, maybe make it sound a little bit more like Aldanova's second album. It's like,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And before that, he was I think he was a fan. Like he played with his band in Stockholm, and they were just in the demo stage when we were out playing Sweden Rock and stuff like that. So yeah.
When it comes to picking the cover songs, is there a lot of disagreement trying to figure out what you think is going to work or what's a good song for the relaunch albums? I would imagine with 5 guys putting their opinion in, there's got to be some disagreement here and there.
Yeah, and the label wants their opinion as well, and we have other people want. But what do you guys think? Especially you, since we like.
I feel like we don't really disagree on that much. Like to be honest, we do, especially when it comes to music. Like we like a lot of the same music, and I think it usually. When we put together a playlist of potential songs, it becomes quite apparent when you listen to them for a little bit and you realize which ones are going to sound good being remade. We don't want to take a song that's already amazing and like production wise, and that feels complete, to make a cover of a song, a version that we think is already absolutely perfect. We always want to take some kind of new spin on it.
Yeah, that's the point of it. But I mean, for instance, the Van Sant song. I mean, for me, it's nearly perfect as it is. But and about that, you didn't have to disagree on so many, since we chose one of your favorites. Already.
Yeah,
we picked it for you.
Yeah,
your choices.
Yeah, so. Yeah, that song is one of my all-time personal favorites, actually. So I was really happy when I saw that song on the list. And as a matter of fact, I just instantly felt that we're not going to, try to rework this song or just make, our own version of it, make it, tougher, harder, anything like that. I just wanted it to sound as much as the original as possible, just to pay tribute to the song itself.
And I mean, you contributed with plenty of songs. Like I had never heard the Modern Day Delilah song before, and I was so happy when you showed it to me, and I was like, yes, it's perfect. And one big thing with this is that, like, it was really important that the songs would fit my voice, because that was not the case like with the other. They just chose songs like Dante Benotto on Universal. He was like, you need to have these songs. And then Ricky chose a few songs, and Freddie chose a few songs as old members of the band. And I just did what I was told. I wanted to make people happy. So but now we are all more in charge of that, and so we can say no, I would never. I wouldn't be able to sing it, or I wouldn't be able to play this part, or that's really important. But so I think the songs that we did all fit my voice very well, and it also shows like with range music wise. What do you think?
Like I said, I think it's a fantastic album. Perfect AOR. I was kind of familiar with Houston before this, but when I was listening to the album, I thought it was all original material. It was certainly rare AOR that I'd probably forgotten about, because I've heard of these artists that you're covering, but you did it in such a way. I'm like, wow, these guys are really capturing that era and that sound.
Yeah, that was the fun thing with Live Forever and Do You Believe, when we showed a few important or people that we trust very well to listening with our music, and we care about their opinion. They were like, these are really nice songs, but who has made Live Forever, and who has made Do You Believe? I can't figure it out. So I think we did a good job where you can't tell which are covers and not.
You have a new bass player who plays for you for the first time on this album. Is it NIELS WALTER? Is that
that's right? NIELS WALTER. That's right.
NIELS, how did you end up hooking up with Houston?
I've been a friend for the band for about 10 years, maybe. So I was actually studying music with Carl here. We were studying rock music here in Stockholm for it's about 12 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
From now, yeah. So we've been friends for 12 years, and Carl also joined at Houston during that time when we were studying. So I've been a friend with the band for quite a long time. So it felt very natural to become part of this band.
Yeah. It was Nils has been on our radar for I mean, at least on my radar, ever since we started studying. Nothing against Sophia. Now he's obviously amazing and a good friend still, but it was always like, you know, if he ever chooses to leave the band, then there's a given replacement straight away for that. So we're happy Niels is a
and it was like when Sofiane and Oscar wanted to pursue other things musically, we were like, what should we do? And you were a bit put down for a bit, and I was like, we will be fine. I will call Richard and see what he thinks. And you were like, well, can't we ask Niels, Carl's friend? I was like, yeah, well, that was actually what I thought. So we kind of wanted to have him as a replacement already before you you asked us for it. So
great minds think alike. Like I said, we don't disagree on
it. I'm very happy to be part of this band. Feels amazing to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And ERIK Moden, you're the drummer. This is kind of, you're a newer member to Houston, but you're not a permanent member. Is that true?
Yes, I am.
You are? Okay, because I read they were still looking.
Yes, you are. Yeah, actually, I actually included him in the final printing before you actually agreed to join. I put you in as a permanent member in the CD already before you agreed, because I was so sure you would. And I was like, I won't take no for an answer.
Okay.
And but I think in the press release it was first before everything was cleared, and maybe the label have something to say about that. I don't know. So I think in the press release it says you're not in the band, but you definitely are. It's in print in the CD.
Black and white.
That happens.
I was just going to add, I've been following the band from the outside ever since they started. I mean, me and Hank, we've been friends for like, what is it, 14 years now or something like that. We used to hang out on Sweden Rock Festival and the rock clubs here in Stockholm and everything. And then just saying we have to do something together at some point, and then the years.
ERIK has always had such great taste in music, so I was always like, you have had my confidence forever. Ever since.
And so when I got the request to produce the album, I said, of course, I would love to do it. And then during the process, the former drummer decided to jump ship, and I said, I can do the drums on the album as well. Yes. No problem at all. And then during the recording process, I just told Hank, because I was asked to do some live shows as well, and just told him, you don't have to, look for another permanent drummer until your eyes bleed. I can actually think about it. But I mean, it's always a commitment joining a band. I mean, as a full member, I mean, it's you have there's commitments, and you have to contribute and everything, and it has to feel 100% right, not only for yourself, that you're actually doing the right thing for the band.
Yeah, but then all of a sudden we got a few shows. We went to Hamburg and we played on this Rocknet cruise with Demon, and we played with other bands like Remedy, and we played with Ross Ballard, etc. And then so we got to do a lot of fun stuff quite quickly.
Social skill training.
Yeah.
You guys got a big show coming up. Your album release party. It's the Bandit Rock Party 2023. What can fans kind of expect of this particular show by you guys?
Yeah, we wanted to be on the Bandit Rock show actually, but we're not included this year. But we figured, since a lot of people are coming to see bands like Heat, Eclipse, Crash Diet, and bands that we have been familiar with for a long time, then we put the show the night before it starts, so everybody can come and see us as well.
So you're the pre-show, warm-up show to that show.
Yeah, you could say that. We have a release party as a warm-up show for the Bandit thing. So I think it would strategically very, very good. We'll see how many people that shows up, but I think we'll have a few hundred people.
That will be full house, I'm sure.
Yeah.
We'll set the bar for the rest of the bands, basically.
Yes,
and then empty the bar.
Yeah, and tomorrow's gonna rain, and tonight's not.
What?
What are your live performance plans after the CD release party?
We'll see. We had a show, but it actually got canceled. We were supposed to to support the return, but the ticket sales weren't that good, so they canceled actually. So no, nothing is booked, but if everything goes to plan, we hope to do a small Germany and Spain tour in spring, and then we'll see. We are up. We are there. Many people saying the world is waiting for you. We are waiting for the world to invite us, to accept us. So yeah, it's never been that we don't want to play. We're always ready to play, but it's not it's not always that easy. So
Have you guys ever come to the US, or is it just too expensive and too much red tape?
yeah, it's never been on the plate, but it's a dream come true.
Yeah, that will be a dream.
So with your help, and we actually have got a lot of more US fans just for this release and the last release. So I guess that's something to thank Frontiers for. So we have been more exposure in the US. So we hope we can come. And like the melodic rock cruise would be a dream come true, since there's a lot of bands that that are similar to us already playing there. So I think we should fit right in there, because we have another style of AOR than the other bands do.
I went to LA in 2015 with my former band, and that was a kind of a different type of music. And the only thing I could think of was that all the environment over there fits so well with this kind of music. I mean, if we could just go there, we would have, the best fucking photo shoots ever and down the Sunset Strip and at the Venice Beach and everything. It'll be so amazing.
Yeah. Miami is quite close, so we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, that will be good inspiration for new songs as well.
Yeah,
to hang out
really.
in the US.
We are waiting for the invitation.
Well, I hope you get it. You guys released your fourth studio album August 10th, 2021 on the Frontiers label. It was called 4. This was your first album for Frontiers. I feel like you guys were always there based on the sound. How did you end up signing with Frontiers Music?
Well, there was a few times we tried to sign there, but we couldn't get the deal we wanted, and then we got, because we were always very good, well treated at Cargo Records and LimeWire, where we signed for Houston 2, Relaunch 2, and Houston 3. But then all of a sudden there was, like, after the COVID and everything, and everybody was like, they were holding on to the money, and they couldn't offer us what we needed to make an album. So and then Frontier stood there with open arms, and now we're there. You can check out anytime you want, but you can never leave.
How far along are you guys on the 5th Houston album?
Well, not that far. I had plans to try to write some more songs this summer. It's not over yet, but I'm also having my second child in September, so I will be quite busy with that. But perhaps that will give me a lot of emotions and inspiration for new songs. So, and yeah. So then I will send my ideas to these guys, and they will work their magic, and then we have Houston songs. So not that far, but yeah, but I feel excited about making another album. Yeah.
Well, I see you guys are busting out the champagne to celebrate the release and the CD release party. So those are all the questions I have for you today, Houston. The new album is Relaunch 3. It's out now through Frontiers Music. Great covers album. 2 great original songs on it, too. You guys should be very proud of it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate you taking the time to come on the podcast, and I wish you the best of luck in everything.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Take care. Once again, I want to thank the band Houston for coming on the Rock is George podcast. Be sure to check out their latest album, Relaunch 3, out now on Frontiers Music. While you're at it, be sure to check out their latest studio album, 4, also on all streaming music outlets. Head over to your favorite one. Take a listen to both albums. If you like what you hear, buy a physical copy. Support the artist. For all things Houston, head over to their official Facebook page /Houston, Sweden. I also want to thank Dustin Hardman of Hardman Promotions and Frontiers Music for making this interview possible. You've been great. I've been George Dionne. Discover your next favorite artist on the Rock is George podcast.